Hey everybody, welcome back to Sean's Gadget Kitchen. Today I got something for you that's pretty cool. It is the Presto Pizzazz Plus Pizza Oven. We're going to put it through its paces today. We're going to do a pizza, we're going to do some tater tots, and we're going to do some cinnamon rolls. This device comes with the unit itself, a rotating pizza pan, just 2 pieces, in this book. In here, it's got some pretty good instructions, gives you some guidance on the settings you should use and what it can cook. It cooks. I'm going to take you away from the video real quickly here to show you what the controls look like. In the back, you've got a timing wheel, and next to that, you've got a selector that you can use to control the heating elements, whether you want to use the lower, upper, or both at once. Now back to the video. Everything from pizza to bagel bites to cheese bread, cheese stick, chicken nuggets, hot pockets, jalapeno poppers, potato skins. And as I mentioned, we're going to try out some tater tots, so let's get right on that. So we're loaded up with tater tots, the appetizer of our dreams. I'm going to look at my handy little book, see what it tells me here. No, it does not specifically call out tater tots, but it does have potato skins, potato patties, and some other appetizers along those lines. It's saying to use a dual setting, so both the top and bottom heating element, and it's indicating around 13-14 minutes, turn halfway for similar things. So that's what we're going to do. We'll flip it halfway. We'll start it at 7 minutes, do the flip, give it another 7 if it needs it, and go from there. Power on. There is no on-off switch. There's a timer here. We're going to set this, and we are at about 7 minutes. So we are about 7 minutes in. You can see that they're about to crisp up. I'm going to reset the timer for another 7 minutes there. We are going to give these a turn and see what happens. So it's been about 14 minutes. They are definitely looking crispy. I like mine to be a little more crispy than that, so I've added a few more minutes. So I did grab one off there just to give it a taste test, let it cool down for a moment. I can tell it's nice and crispy. It's been about 16 minutes, so far it's doing a good job. All right, who's ready to do the pizza test? We've got a Red Baron Special Deluxe pizza. It's not a thin crust, it's not a rising crust. I would just consider this a regular crust. Directions say about 12 to 15 minutes. So let's give it about 12 minutes and we'll check on it. So we're going to get this ready. I'll place the pizza there, position it about in the middle. We will plug this in. Let's make sure I've got it set up properly. Okay, we're good to go. Let's do 12 minutes. We'll check back in then. So right now we are at the 4-minute mark, 4 minutes remaining that is. It looks like it's starting to cook. You can see the pepperoni, definitely you can see some grease on there. Then if we look at the top here, we are in dual mode, so we've got both lower and upper heat. I'm speculating that this is going to take longer than about 3 or 4 minutes. But let's see, we'll check on it then, and if needed, we'll give it a few more. So we're about done. We've probably got another minute to hit the 12-minute mark. It doesn't look quite done yet. The cheese is not fully melted. It's not really brown and crispy. So we're gonna give it, let's go 4 minutes, 4 additional minutes. That would give it a total of 16 minutes, which really isn't bad for a pizza. I think that's pretty acceptable. All right, it's been 16 minutes. Let's unplug this, get the machine to stop, and let's take a look at it and see what we got. Definitely feels like it's getting crispy. The cheese is starting to melt. The pepperoni's looking nice and crispy. I still feel like we could use a few more minutes, so I'm gonna give it 3 more minutes. That would give it a total of 19 minutes because we went 12 for, that's 16, so yep, a total of 19. So that's been about 19 minutes. I think we're good. You can see here that the cheese is golden brown, the pepperoni's sizzling, the cheese in the center is melted. I think 20 minutes and you're gonna have a pretty good pie. So let's get it onto a pan, cut it up, and see how it's gonna taste. All right, let's get this onto a pan. I'm gonna use some tongs here to slide this off. There we go. All right, now we're gonna cut it up. Sounds like it's crispy. Feels like it's crispy. All right, let's do a quick inspection. Yeah, nice and crispy all the way around. I'm gonna let this cool just for a second before we take a bite and make a final verdict. All right, let's take a bite, see how it did. So that was really good, very hot, crispy, no difference than if you would have baked it in the oven. So I think this is definitely a win. All right, this should be really interesting. We're gonna test its functionality. I've got some cinnamon rolls here, and per our trusted instruction manual, we are gonna use a couple different element settings. 3 minutes upper, so I will do that now. It is now in the upper element setting. And then 6 to 7 minutes dual. Do not position a roll in the center of the pan. So we've got them on the outside, somewhat evenly spaced. Let's get this rolling and see how she does. All right, so we've probably got about 30 seconds to go, something like that. You can see they're starting to puff up a tiny bit. They are the cinnamon is starting to melt, and I'd say they're looking pretty good. In just a minute, we're gonna move over to the dual setting, so there'll be heat from the top and the bottom, and we'll do that for about 7 minutes and see what happens. So let's just wait for this to go off before we adjust that setting. So let's make these adjustments. Dual, and we're gonna go what's about 7 minutes. You can really start to smell that cinnamon now. So I've got high hopes for these. So these are looking pretty good. The room is filled with the smell of cinnamon. They're really puffed up. I'm not sure if they're gonna be done on the inside. We're gonna have to find out. I really don't wanna cook them too much longer because I'm afraid the cinnamon might start to burn. So our timer's gone off. It's been a total of about 12 minutes, let's say. I'm gonna stop the cooking process. Let's just grab a random roll and see how it looks. It is hot, of course. We're gonna hit it with a little bit of icing. Probably should let it cool off. I'm not gonna put too much icing. We'll make sure we save some for the rest. Let's let this cool off for a minute here before we take our first bite. Moment of truth, we're gonna cut this open. See if it cooked all the way through. Feels a little doughy on the side, but let's take a look. Well, it looks like it's cooked most of the way through. It probably could have used a little more time, but as I mentioned, maybe the cinnamon would burn. I would say cook it as long as you can, but let's do a taste. It's good. I think it'd be fine. It is a little doughy on the top. Probably needed a few extra minutes, but you know, if you're in your dorm room and you feel like having some cinnamon rolls, I think this is probably gonna work out okay. Not 100% perfect, maybe not quite as good as an oven, but if you don't have an oven, this is a good option. So let me give you my final thoughts on the Presto Pizzazz Plus rotating oven. I thought the unit was really cool. It worked really good. It's a lot of fun to use. Did a really good job with the pizza. It handled tater tots no problem. I'm sure it could handle other frozen appetizers. The cinnamon rolls were okay. Not 100% perfect. Maybe they could have cooked it a little longer, but I wouldn't be too concerned about that because you're probably primarily going to be using it for pizza, which is its main function. The unit cost about $75, $80, so it's a pretty good value. Not sure about the long-term durability, but it seems to be well made. It'd be really interesting to compare it to the Chefman Everything Maker. Kind of different functionality there, so you can look for an upcoming video on that. Thanks for watching.